Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you? It's looking different. Trying to see.
In a good way or in a bad way? Oh, the platform. I know it
Yes.
was the other day when we did the book review, and I was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
It's kind of panicky.
Okay. Do I look all right?
You look great. What
Okay.
what about it looks different? Like the icons or
You're like huge. There's nothing else but your face.
what?
There's
Nothing's
nothing wrong with that.
wrong with that. Isn't that your
It just,
setting?
it was really tiny. I don't know. I'll have to mess
I
with it.
have both of you. I mean, both of us. I think if you go up to view, maybe in the upper
Mhm.
right hand, you see it,
Yeah.
and then you can choose your view. You can have you can the speaker or gallery or immersive. What does
Did
immersive
I
mean?
do? I think I just did gallery.
Okay, that's what I was on. That's
Okay.
the thing. Is that good to you?
Works for me.
What does immersive mean? It's like AI or something. I don't know.
I'm not going to click it because
I'm a little nervous, right?
I would be very nervous. Yeah. Yeah. Did you get any rest this afternoon?
I wanted to take a nap so badly, and I was fearful that I would sleep too long, and everyone would be waiting for this to
Yeah.
start. What about you?
Yeah, I think I ate too many fajitas at lunch.
Same. Like, I don't even need dinner. What was
Oh, I'm
wrong with
not eating dinner.
me?
I'm not even eat tomorrow.
Like, it didn't come on till later, too, where I was like, whoa, I am so full.
I have regrets. Yeah. I
Yes,
was fine at the time and I was like, I'm so hungry. And then
yes, I know. It was like starving. I agree.
yeah,
Anyways, did you get any reading done this afternoon or no?
not a word,
Not a word
not
again.
a
Me
word. No.
neither. I'm still trying to decide what my next book is going to be. I kind of ready to read the Philippa Gregory book, maybe.
Mm,
That needs to be read
yeah.
for sure.
I think we need a meeting Thursday or Friday, regroup.
Okay,
Yeah.
of
What
everything.
thing, what we got to do to get ready for fall. I
I
think I've
know.
got a I think we have a catalog to look over.
Okay, yes, we can do that. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think. I have a meeting on Friday. By the way, welcome everyone. Enjoying the small talk. I have a meeting Friday morning, but maybe Friday afternoon might work for me.
That sounds
Is that
great.
acceptable? Okay, cool.
How's everyone doing?
Yes, how's everybody's summer?
And y'all get bonus points for being here on time because it's
Yeah,
different.
it's different, and I feel badly that I'm sure that everyone probably forgot, and that would be unfortunate.
Oh,
Look at you, gorgeous girls.
Oh,
look
I
at
feel like
you.
I know you from Instagram.
I know. I know. I'm so happy that this worked out because I mean,
Thrilled.
yes, I feel like we've been friends for a really long time.
I do too. I
Yeah.
mean, I couldn't wait to see you girls. And yes, I know. I feel like Elizabeth, you have just done something so ingenious. And I kind of was posting on your page before I knew you. I
Yeah.
just love to see your passion. You're
Well,
like the hippest librarian in the world.
hey, that's so sweet. I love that.
So true.
I had the biggest soft spot in my heart for you
Oh,
because of Big Stone Gap. And
oh my
we were
God.
talking today, we had our retreat, and I had 3 kids in 4.5 years. I had a total fog. I was not reading at all. And I came across that series and it just I don't know. It kind of reintroduced my love of reading. I still think about all the characters from that
Wow.
wonderful series. And so ever since then I have loved you. I sell that well. I also sell Shoemaker's Wife so well. I love that book.
that was a great
Like,
one. I
yeah.
loved it.
So
Oh, hang on. I'm coming back.
Okay.
Well, hold on. There I am. Sorry.
yeah. No, but I'm just major fan girling that we get to speak with you today.
Oh, I'm thrilled. The Big Stone Gap series is so dear to me because I didn't have a baby when I wrote the first one.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't know what I was doing in particular. So it had like 5 endings. And my editor said it has too many endings. And I said, I don't care. I said, I love the fact that it sort of keeps, there's another thing and there's another thing and there's another thing. And then there's a baby. I was longing to have a baby.
Yeah.
And then eventually, of course, in 2002, I did, but that was Big Stone Gap, Big Cherry Holler, and Lucia.
Yeah. Yeah, they were just, I don't know, that series to me is just one that really, really sticks out as something that I
so
adore.
happy. Makes me so happy. Thank you.
She definitely has her favorites she sells in the bookshop.
Yes.
Everyone who comes in.
When am I going to come down there? That's the most important thing. I came down for ALA, and I feel like I thought about swinging through. Then I had to get back here. I had all this family stuff going on.
Well, we're just an hour and a half away from ALA. So
next time.
The
next one, I'll come to Waco.
Yay. And where are you, Adriana? It's
in Greenwich Village in New York City.
Okay. Adriana.
You can say it either way.
What do you prefer?
I'm like Adriana because that's how my dad said it. But, in Italy, it's Adriana.
Okay.
So my nickname's Adri. So I would be Audrey. And there's enough odd about me. I didn't need a nickname.
And I think I've mispronounced your last name wrong all this time. I did it the Southern way, Trigiani, but it's Trigiani.
Yeah. It's like a tree and Johnny, Trigiani.
Trigiani.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you know that designer Johnny Versace? That's it's because there's Johnny in it. So it's Trigiani.
Okay. Yes. I normally read your books visually, and this last one I read on audio, and I was like, I've been pronouncing her name the wrong way all this time.
Don't you feel bad for 1 second? Don't you feel bad? Wasn't Mira Sorvino?
I listened to her. She was incredible.
I know.
It was so great.
I was praying she'd do it, and she did. And then I went out with her, and I loved her.
Oh,
she's got 4 kids too.
Really?
You have 3 or 4? 4.
I have 3.
3. How many you got, Allison?
2.
2. I have 1.
How old?
Really different. She's 23. She just turned 23.
So I have 21, 23, 25.
My God.
She was busy.
By the way, my sister Francesca, who's the baby in my family, has 4. And she said to me, my family's unbelievable. They actually helped me. I'm one of 7. So my sisters did a thing for this Campagna Center that helps kids in Washington, D.C. area. So I did an event for them. And she, we don't get a chance to like really talk. And she said, I realized I was in a fog for 10 years. And nobody talks about our hormonal structure. I know you girls went through it. I went through it. And then for some reason, I look at the other mothers and go, oh, they have this figured out. I'm the one who doesn't have it figured out. I would always like chastise myself. Like should be doing this better. But then I found out all the mothers felt the same. Yes. It's kind of incredible.
We would literally talked about that at the retreat today. I said, I know that the years 2000 to 2005 happened. I mean, yes, I remember 9/11, but that's about all I remember from those 5 years. So
one of your babies is a 9/11 baby, right?
Yes.
Because my daughter is a 9/11 baby.
Yes.
And you want to know that I went to the to the OBGYN 6 weeks after 9/11 and I was pregnant. And I said, and I remember going into the doctor's office, which is normally the beige and sedate, and there's not a lot of activity. When I walked in there, it was like being inside the gears of a watch. There were women in every corner and it was like bustling. And I went into my doctor and I said, what happened? And she said, it's the 9/11 effect.
Really?
Interesting. Yeah. I have a friend who had a baby after that. Yeah. I was 7 months pregnant with my second child when 9/11 happened. So I had a crazy toddler and yes. And it was,
maybe that was a good thing. Maybe that was God's hand on you to like
just busy.
Because let me tell you that I'm blocks from it. That was the most devastating. And I try not to think about it, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we all do, but to walk down there, it was like Armageddon.
I can't imagine.
My mother grew up in Elmont, New York. So
yeah, that's beautiful.
And a lot of people she grew up with were firefighters. And of course, a lot of them died afterward because of the cancer in the lungs and from all the dust. So
Lucia went to school with a girl. Her mom was pregnant with her seventh child. Big Irish Catholic family, had all boys. This is a little girl. And I've been able to talk to her some about it, but her husband went to work that day. He was the first man in the second tower.
Gosh.
Most horrible. I mean, you can't.
Yeah. And I remember thinking at the time, again, crazy toddler, pregnant. All I thought about were all those the wives who were left behind with all the children. You know, it was just that certain time in my life. So yeah.
I know we're all in there with you.
Yeah, we are.
Horrible.
It definitely marks you. It's great. We have a lot of young booksellers, and we always put up a flag on September 11th, and so many of them forget. And we're like, why are you putting the flag up? And I am like, they are not marked by this.
No.
Like we are. It's really crazy. They'll ask us questions about it, and it's amazing.
It was so out of the blue.
Yeah.
That was part of the problem. Yeah.
Well, we're so excited to have you. This is absolutely thrilling. And thank you so much for being flexible with us and the timing and all that kind of stuff. Always record these. So we have a good amount of people that signed up. And so a lot of times, and for anyone that's joining, if you haven't been a part of our book club before, we will send out this recording 24 hours after. And so if you miss anything, you want to hear something again, or need to attend to something, don't worry, you can definitely hear it and hear everything we have to say, all the questions. And if you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat and we will get to it. Elizabeth and I have lots of questions. We even had our communications director, who loved the book, to contribute questions for us. So hopefully we'll get to everything. We may not. So feel free to drop that in the chat. And as always, spoilers abound here. This is a book that we're going to be talking about from the beginning, middle, and end. So if you have not finished, please protect your enjoyment and come back and view it whenever the recording is done and you have finished the book. I'm never one to, spoil, so I always want to let everybody know that. And at the end, we will announce our next book club pick. So thank you so much, Adriana, for
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm here, because you've enticed me to join next time.
Oh, that would be a thrill. That'd be wonderful. Well, I will let Elizabeth formally introduce you, although we already know who you are, but love to hear all the accolades in your bio.
I know, and your bio, I'm going to get lots of kudos for getting through your bio, because there's a lot of words in here. So let's see how I do. Okay, so Adriana Trigiani is the New York Times bestselling author of 21 books of fiction and nonfiction. Her work has been published in 38 languages around the world. An award-winning playwright, television writer, producer, and filmmaker, Trigiani wrote and directed the major motion picture of her debut novel, Big Stone Gap, adapted her novel, Very Valentine, for television, and directed the documentary Queens of the Big Time, among others. In 2023, President Sergio Mattarella of Italy awarded Trigiani the Cavaliere del I'm going to do this.
You're doing great.
Cavaliere dell'Ordine della Stella d'Italia.
Perfetto.
So proud. Okay, I did it.
Perfetto.
The Library of Virginia bestowed their highest honor, the Patron of Letters degree, to Trigiani in 2024. She received the 2025 Ellis Island Medal of Honor for her significant contributions to literature, culture, and community. Trigiani grew up in Appalachia in the mountains of Virginia, where she co-founded the Origin Project, a year-round in-school writing program that has served over 25,000 students since its inception in 2014. Trigiani is proud to serve on the New York State Council of the Arts. She lives in Greenwich Village with her family. Yay, I did it.
You did it. That was pretty extraordinary, Elizabeth.
I tried. Okay. So, as I said earlier, I have been a huge fan of yours since the very beginning. I'm majorly fangirling having you with us tonight for our Fabled event. Can you tell everyone or give everyone the elevator pitch for your last fabulous novel?
Well, to just set it up, a perfectly wonderful but very depressed 33-year-old woman is living in her parents' basement. Why? So she has to reinvent her life and build a new life and build a house to go with it. That's the view from Lake Como.
Love it. Yeah. Very good. Very concise. I love the
and kind of a very simple construct of a very complicated problem. Is how do we love our families that drive us crazy, but we need them and they need us. And we have to find a way to always come together for the mutual benefit of each person in that family. It is, I don't know if it's a possible assignment, but with enough time, we could get there, I guess.
That's such a great, I love that. Well, first question, tell us about the inception of this book, what your writing process is like in developing a story with such rich family ties.
Well, if you read my acknowledgments and you read my books, you know that I am very, from the beginning, they've always been about remembering people. And sometimes I'm in the middle of writing something and someone will go. And this has just been the case since I was a very young child. I was very observant as a kid, probably my only skill. And I would get very attached to my great aunts and uncles, and my grandparents all came from big families. So I was incredibly invested in people that I'd never met and incredibly invested in people that I had met. So I took every relationship, whether it was a great uncle, seriously. And I had been on the island with one of my uncles. He's now in heaven. He died in December. And I was able to bridge that gap with him. And for 5 years, we've been great. Not so with everybody, but as great as it could be. And then he got sick and I flew into action and I went down for my aunt, who I'm very close to. And I kind of I had written the book by the time he died, but as he got sick, I was editing. And it became clear to me that I had written Uncle Louie for him. And then kind of made a meatball out of it with my other uncles. There's aspects of character in there. But I saw this man so clearly. And in a sense, if you think about it, and I mean, Allison, Elizabeth, I don't know. I was seeking to have him with me forever. And that's how and then, believe me, nobody was, and we were doing spoilers, so nobody was more surprised than me when he died.
That's amazing.
Nobody. I didn't think he was going to die. I had, in fact, outlined it that he was going to go to Italy with her and they would discover all this together. And then he died. And I'm crying at 3 o'clock in the morning because I don't know he was going to die. And then I thought, but I didn't want to let him go. So then that's how the layering emotionally begins to get that down on the page. Like, how am I going to keep you turning the pages through the whole thing? And once you love those two, I'm not going to lose you. And I think you love Jess Capodimonte Baratta, and you love him, Uncle Louie Capodimonte.
I loved Uncle Louie so much.
I really did too. Yeah, I really did too. So much so, I can't tell you the name, but I called an actor and I said, look, I had you on the podcast. Maybe I'll sneak and tell just your book club.
Oh, yes, do it.
That's the Waco read. And I called him up through my friend Norina, who is connected to the greatest talent in the country. I call her up and I go, Norina, I want you to read this book I just wrote. And it's a final draft, but we have to edit it still. But I want you to read this because it's for somebody you know. And so she read it and she called me. She goes, oh my God, I'm calling him right now. I said, will you give it to him to read? And she said, absolutely. Then he came over for coffee. And I said, I want you and I want your wife to play Aunt Lil. So now I'm taking the meetings. So soon I will know.
Oh my God.
I don't think I can tell you. I think I'll get in big trouble.
Okay. Well, don't.
You can DM me. I won't tell anyone.
I'll DM you.
For me.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
And we'll erase it and it'll be no.
Isn't that life? Isn't that life?
Yeah.
If he could have said, it's not for me. I don't want to do this. And then he came over and it was hysterical. I sat there and went, but when whatever happens with books, it's to me always an enchanted proposition because we're all relating to each other in an emotional way. Interesting.
Yes.
Well, the book starts off with a great quote. Italians are fortunate. They can always cry it away or sing it away or love it away. I kind of feel like Irish people are the same way.
I agree.
How does this quote shape the story?
Well, it became the scaffolding for the storytelling. Cry it away, right? Laugh it away, love it away. What are the three again? Cry it away.
Sing it away.
Oh, cry, sing. I know.
Love.
Cry, sing. Yeah. So I read nonfiction when I'm writing novels. So just even like if I'm doing the podcast, when I'm writing a novel, you'll notice I will have people on something I've already read or a luminary that I think but I have a lot of people who do memoirs or nonfiction. So, I'm on a book tour. So I just had Fanny Flagg who writes fiction.
I love Fanny Flagg.
Okay. We need to get her on this.
Oh, that would be amazing.
We shall discuss. Listen to the podcast and I'll make it happen because I love her so much. If I call her up and say, you got to do Waco Girls.
Tell her I'm from Alabama.
Yes. That will be even huger.
My daughter was born in Alabama too.
Okay, that counts.
That's some ties for
That's
sure.
Important. Yeah. My best friend's from Alabama.
Okay, perfect.
From Florence. Yeah. So, okay. Now why were we talking about Fanny? Oh, something came out in our conversation. Oh, it'll come back. Anyway, Fanny is a person who writes this granular, like Eudora Welty or the great Southern Catherine Mansfield, or, these great Southern short story writers. And yet hers is very ebullient and funny but jam-packed with characters, which is the Southern experience, really. So anyway, if I love someone, I read nonfiction when I'm writing fiction. And if I love them, the artist that's the nonfiction writer, it helps me with the fiction. You may say, well, how does that work, Adrian? Well, here's how it works. So I went on a bender of Ludwig Bemelman's, and you'll remember him because you read Madeline to your kids. The two girls in two straight lines and the thing covered with vines.
The nuns.
Yeah, and the nun, Madame Clavel, all of that. And in New York, there's a nightclub where his murals are still, and they're on the lampshades and everything. So there's the Bemelman's bar at the Carlisle Hotel, to be specific, if anybody comes to New York and wants to go. And so I just started reading, and I realized this guy wrote, I'm not kidding, 75 books. Now there's some novels in there, but I waited till after I was finished to read those. So I'm reading this one very tasty book called the one I love the most. And it's the story of Ludwig in Hollywood in the 1930s, which is my jam. So in it, they come to New York at a certain point. This is before, okay, I should say who the characters are. Elsie DeWolf, the great American decorator, also an actor. She did the guest cottage at Versailles. That's where she died, and redecorated it. And her decorating, this is so important to girls from Texas that I'm going to say it, or living in Texas, is she reinvented decorating, interior design at the turn of the last century. And everything was very Regency heavy, big drapes and everything. She ripped all that down and she went crazy. She like gave birth to Dorothy Draper, for example, who did Greenbrier. Okay, our kind of girl, and Carlton Barney in that tradition. A lot of color, a lot of light, a lot of, okay. So I'm already in because I love Elsie DeWolf as a character. And there's like a tea room here named after her called the Lady Mendel, because she became a lady. I know I'm going, see, I can't tell a story in a straight line. Anyway, it's like I'm drunk, but I'm not, I assure you. Anyway, so she ended up coming to New York, and so did Ludwig. So they're driving in Central Park, and she sees, and this is all Italian immigrants, this is last century, early on, my people, and she sees them in the park, and she writes that line. She says the line, and he writes it down.
That's so cool.
Okay, so that's how so then it became, and I went, wait a minute, that's the structure of my book. First, you're down, then you're going to sing, you're going to recreate the whole thing again, and then you're going to love. And who she ends up loving is herself.
Which reminds me of Big Stone Gap in a lot of ways too.
Good.
Yeah.
That was intentional.
I could tell. That just feels like a Trigiani book, is a middle-aged woman finding herself, falling in love with herself, and soaring.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we have to, ladies, no matter what phase we're in. I think that women are very good at the transitions of life because we're always being slammed with something.
Yes.
Part of that has to do with raising children, but I'm going to say this too, even for a woman that doesn't have children, this is very astute observations about you and your life. And everybody doesn't have to have kids. Everybody doesn't have to do these things. Everybody doesn't have to get married. Everybody doesn't. There's many choices. And sometimes it chooses you. I like to point that out, right?
It's true.
So yeah, all good.
Well, when I was reading the book, I always loved when I read books that I know we're having the author on, just to start thinking of questions. And as soon as you started describing all of the marble and the Italian stone, I was like, we are going to have to get into this, because your research had to be so intricate into understanding. Maybe you knew it already, but I would love to hear.
No, I didn't, Allison. I didn't know anything about it.
That was really fascinating. And I would love to hear what you did as research, and then why did you choose marble work as kind of that and vehicle for Jess to with Uncle Louie and Italy and everything.
Well, I spend a lot of time in Italy, and so I'm very enamored of, and I also I'm enamored of craft. If you notice in all my books, there's somebody making something, because I'm a blue collar girl from a family that survived by the labor of their own hands. Quite clever people, many brilliant. Everybody doesn't have to be brilliant, but the whole focus for us as children was we were all going to college because my parents are college graduates. My mother's a librarian, and my father was business and philosophy at the University of Notre Dame. That's where my parents met.
We are also professors' daughters. Both of us.
Love.
Yes.
So you know that life.
Oh, for sure.
So, and occasionally, and I encourage everybody within the sound of my voice, please follow me for free on social media, because I post this stuff all the time. So it enhances your reading experience, not just of my books, but of all the books that you love. So my mom created the architecture library at the University of Notre Dame. Now, why is all this important? because look at what it is that I am interested in. I'm interested in the sartorial crafts of seamstress, shoemaker, leather works, the farmer, because the farmer usually becomes the butcher, and the butcher becomes the tanner, and the tanner becomes the designer. There's an Italian hierarchy. Now, this is also true in other countries, but I kind of know this because it's my piece. So the marble started when 15 years ago, my husband and I went to a wedding. My husband's the lighting designer for the Today Show, but at the time he was at the David Letterman show, and he has a crew. My husband does it, and then he tells them what to do, which is hysterical. But my husband, I guess you would also say blue collar, very much so. However, there's an artistry to that, right? So we went to this wedding at St. Catherine's in Spring Lake, New Jersey. Now, as an Italian, I went in there and I went, this is Carrara marble. How did I know that? Well, I had been to Carrara. And also, like you, whenever you travel, we would go into the churches or we go see the art and so on. And then there's one other little tiny little thread in this that I think is really fascinating. Is about a year and a half ago, I get a call from Whoopi Goldberg. She's introducing a film at the New York Film Festival, and it's about the new Michelangelo. His name is Iago, and he's carved these little babies that he'll leave in a town square out of Carrara marble. But his marble came from the same mountain that Michelangelo's came from. Okay, so now I'm starting to understand what the heck this is. So I begin to learn the craft of how they do it and to understand its role in our homes. Women gravitate to it. It's shiny, but you don't fall on it. Women like a dazzler. How they transport it, I had to do all of that. But you see, I go so deep because I'm so fascinated by something I don't know how to do. So in line with all of my novels, whether it was gem cutting or shoemaker, whatever the heck it is, I try to embed. And this was particularly interesting because I grew up in Appalachia with the coal mining. In Pennsylvania, my dad, the immigrants always go where the work is. So you'll find the Irish, the Italian, the Polish, the Jewish. You're going to find them in these mining areas. A lot of times my mother's from the Iron Range of Minnesota, though she's first generation Italian because her parents were born in Italy. You sort of see the thing now. So these are the people I'm writing about. So the marble, once I went to St. Catherine's and then I started talking to people, the stories in the book about how this Irish architect and this Italian marble and how they created these cathedrals. And I just went, oh my God, this is a story. But it's not a story. That's 15 years ago. It has to cook. And I wrote it all down, what I saw. And then this crazy thing happens in 2005, which it was right around the time we went to this wedding. This town changed its name from South Belmar to Lake Como to match their lake. And you guys, I went to the old Lake Como that was really kind of like a crappy suburb between two wonderful little picturesque towns. Now they changed their name and it's picturesque. And I went, there's my historical backdrop for Jess.
Wow.
That's my historical, because a novel has to have that, in my humble opinion. It's got to be happening against the swath of history.
Yeah.
You know, in Big Stone Gap that you mentioned, Elizabeth, Big Stone Gap was against Elizabeth Taylor coming to Big Stone Gap and choking on a chicken bone. Well, that's a historical event. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Well, one of my favorite parts of this book is the family dynamics. The mother, good heavens, that mother. But we were kind of saying, it reminded us a little bit of the family of My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where they're all obnoxious but lovable, and like you said, you can't live with them, you can't live without them. Did you base this on your own family, or yeah? I loved the family dynamics.
Always, those are my people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always, for good, for bad, for maddening, for loving, for all of it. Those are my people.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a family where everybody's got an opinion about your business.
Yeah.
And we have practiced and committed to restraint, and none of us are capable of it. Even if in the moment we have restraint, there's a phone call that will follow the restraint. This is who we are. It's who we are. It is so particular and so specific that every family has it. Every family. It's so much so, I think you ladies know, I toured with my brother and his band for my book tour. And I realized when I talked to my brother Michael, who we were wedding singers when we were little, I said to him when we were kids, I said, Michael, I said, how do you think we should do this? And, you know, this started, I don't know, 9 months back, a year back, maybe more, I don't know. And he said, well, I need Carlo to be the tour manager. And my brothers are very close. In fact, they live across the street from each other now. That I knew that, like, I needed Michael, Michael needed Carlo. And then my sisters all showed up and did stuff. I mean, do we argue? Yes. Are we opinionated? Yes. Does it get heated? Very much so. Very much so. But we're also able to somehow come back together. Sometimes it takes a while, but we always do.
I love when my mother talks about growing up in Elmont, and she was from a very large Irish Catholic family. She dated a boy who was an Italian Catholic family, and it just seems like these, and everyone lived in small homes, so just these big personalities in a small home.
Crammed in there.
Yeah. She said that there were only 4 kids in there were 6 babies born, but only 4 of them survived. But everyone loved to come to my mother's house because they were the smallest or the fewest number of children in the house. So it was just, there were only 4 of them. So it was,
whenever there was an only child, it was fantastic.
Yeah. But
because, you know, you only, but we could always play music together or play together, or, you know, whatever we were doing, throw a baseball for hours on end with my brothers, you know, just back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, early in the book, when Jess gets to Italy, she's talking to Connor and says there's an Italian phrase for everything. And then you use all of these Italian phrases within the book. How did you know them already? Did you catalog them while you're writing them?
Yes, a lot of them come from family experience and or things I'd heard when I'm in Italy. I hear these phrases and I write them down. And then I check with my cousins, am I doing this right? You know? Yeah.
I feel that way about the South sometimes too, that we have
oh my God.
phrases.
You know, my best friend Cynthia and I, we get on the phone and we laugh so hard because I'm from Virginia, Appalachia, Southwest Virginia, the western corner of Virginia. And you all are from Alabama, which is not far at all. But like if I get hungry, I'll say, her father used to say this, and I say it because I find it hilarious. I'm about to fold up. I'm gonna fold up. I got to get some food. I'm gonna fold up.
That's amazing.
Those expressions, you know, or if your pants were too short, they draw it up. I mean, I just, you know, and if and talking to Fanny Flagg, when you listen to You Are What You Read, you're going to hear me. I start all of a sudden, now I'm back in talking that way. Now I'm going to pick up on your accent. See, and it just comes roaring back.
Yes.
Yeah, but my Alabama accent comes out very strongly when I want something really badly, or when I'm trying to get out of a ticket, and it usually works.
It does work. It used to work when you called the phone company. honey, I don't know. I thought I sent that check in. You hear somebody on the other end of New York going, honey, we'll just take care of it as soon as you can. Yes, ma'am, I will. Thank you. You know, it just comes out in you, especially when you want to be polite.
Yep.
Yeah. So funny.
Well, I have read, you know, first of all, I love the armchair travel. I haven't been to Italy since 1995. I love
okay.
There.
It hasn't changed.
But I loved the armchair travel so much. I think it was the perfect summer read where it's like, if you can't go to Italy, you might as well read about Lake Como. But what is it like writing a contemporary book versus writing a historical fiction like the Shoemaker's Wife? Do you feel like there's a difference? What do you prefer? Is it a different research with contemporary versus historical?
What a great question.
Thank
well,
you.
know, I think you're going to know. I think, Elizabeth, because you read Big Stone Gap, you realize when that came out 25 years ago, that book was considered historical, but they didn't call it that. It was called women's fiction. They've had me in every category.
Yeah.
In every category. And I ignore that. It really, one isn't easier or harder than the other, but how do I know? I felt like after The Good Left Undone, that my readers, and perhaps most readers, would enjoy a story where they could laugh a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that I wanted to take them away. I wanted it to be a bubble bath with gravitas.
I love that. That is a perfect.
And
that's my favorite kind of read.
That's my favorite too. And I call it like, I call myself the Avon lady for the brokenhearted in literature.
Oh,
because I feel that's what I'm writing. That I'm talking to you, with you, for you, right? To enhance it. So it was deliberate to go contemporary, but I love it all. So I can't really choose. And they never called my books historical fiction till like The Shoemaker's Wife. And I was like, Lucia, but if you noticed in my books, I bookended it. A lot of times I tell the story in the past and I bookend it in the present. So how can you call it historical? She's just remembering, or, you know, and then with The Good Left Undone, there was a whole swath of in the present. So in fact, the character's in the present and she's 80 and she thinks she's ruined her family by not being a good mother. So I sort of look at it, I don't really categorize it before I work on it. And then it all starts coming through.
Yeah.
I love humor in books, and I believe, and you can tell me if it's true, that it's not easy to write funny where people laugh. And you do such a great job of it. How do you do that? How do you know it will land?
Well, I'm a comedy writer.
Well,
if we go back in my history, when I moved to New York, I came here to make it on Broadway as a playwright. And I soon saw after about 8 years that, well, I had an off-Broadway show that I wrote, that I was hired to write. And I got my ass handed to me by Mel Gussow, the great critic at the New York Times. But I have no problem with Mel Gussow. I'm sure he's in heaven. And he helped me later, because when I was directing Big Stone Gap, I ran into a problem. And my father had a copy of, said, "Don't say yes until I finish talking," which was the life story of Daryl F. Zanuck by Mel Gussow. And he saved me. So I was like, okay, all is forgiven now. But I had to make a living. There's nobody that I could turn to for my rent. And I was temping, and you don't make a lot of money temping. I always say I was worth every penny of that $6 an hour I made. But I'm in New York City. And it's like I tell all my interns that come in, it's always been expensive. It will always be expensive, but you go through this and you end up made of something. If you try it and it's for you and you can do it. Okay. So my whole setup, really, my whole New York state of mind, is woven into these novels in such a way that I feel that's part of it, the struggle, the waft and weave of everything as a young woman, is that how am I going to make a living? How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to make it? Well, it's the same problem over and over again for all my characters in all of history, even though I'm saying that tonight, I never really realized it in the same way, because you kind of think, oh, okay. But isn't that the thing? Isn't that always the thing? I hate that term empty nest, because an empty nest is just like, it's like a work of art. It's just, you put it on the table, it's over. I don't sort of consider myself that, but my daughter moved out into her own apartment this year with a roommate, and I in New York, thank God, which is great. But if she wanted to go anywhere, that's fine with me. I don't judge. But you see where I'm going now. I'm reinventing again, so I could do the tour. I couldn't do that when she was little. Yeah. I did direct movies when she was little, but we made it seem like I wasn't even gone.
That's cool.
My daughter thinks I was here. I don't know how we did it, but my husband and I just teamed up and figured it out. And it's just, you see, every character, every arc of every character is building how she's gonna, we're constantly as women faced with change, which is why I think we age better. I'm noticing the men are wizening, and I'm going to do a program with the men to get them unwizened here. They get hit with a health scare. They're different people.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, did I answer the question?
Oh, I was asking, well, I loved hearing that. I was asking about the humor, and you said that you were,
well, there, I just did it.
Yes,
the humor. Okay, so when I moved to New York, I was going to be a playwright. Then I looked at my two girlfriends, and I'm like, and I was doing a club act for like 7 years with a bunch of girls, and we had a ball, but it was hard work, because we work all day and then go work the clubs. Oh, anyway, I got hired. They said I had all these plays, and they submitted them to television production companies, and then I went into TV. So I wrote comedy with teams. So I learned structuring jokes, how to do all of that, and then telling a story in a funny fashion. There's a craft to it, but then it's completely got to be you and how you do it. So the way I do it, like, for example, I just got an email today from a man that directed that play I was telling you about off Broadway. His name's Stuart Ross. He's a brilliant theater director. And he wrote me this. He reads everything I write, like the minute I write it. He goes to the store, he gets the book. I don't even send it to him. And he was talking about the scenes in this book with the family, how they're all interjecting, hurting feelings, yelling, screaming. She's holding the spatula like a weapon. He is good. And he said it's a play in there, which is a high compliment to me, because it has to be dramatized. So humor, to be honest, Allison, I think you're born with it. I would not even know how to teach it.
It's true. But it's an art. You're right. You can't teach it, but you know it when you experience it.
You know it when you experience it, and you know it when you do it. And I'm going to tell you something. In my experience with this book, sometimes pre-reader people didn't get the humor right away. But then I sharpened it, and I kept sharpening it.
That's great. I love funny women.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. And then you run it by your funny friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was just thinking a little bit about, so you were born in Appalachia, and you lived there most of your life until you were an adult?
So I was 18 till I went to college. The rest of the time I've been here in New York.
What a huge, massive difference in culture. Would you not?
You would think so, but no. No, I'm in Greenwich Village. I know my neighbors. Not that different from Big Stone Gap. Now, it's the same vibe? Not really, because Big Stone Gap's green and luscious, and you have all that, got all that mountain wisdom and my friends, and I still have the same friends I had when I was in school, which is hilarious to me. but there's similarities. And when I come to Texas, same thing. You find your people in your communities.
Yeah.
Spending time with people you want to spend time with. So I don't consider it that different. Now, do people here have attitudes about people there, and people there have attitudes about people here? Yeah. And part of my thing as a cultural ambassador, I'm joking, is to say to the people in Appalachia, hey, they're all right. And to say to the people here, you think you have street smarts, but you haven't lived in Appalachia. Right. They have more street smarts than you ever will. So
yeah, my mother's from New York, my father's from Alabama, and the difference in culture, but everyone has opinions about the other one, and ultimately,
you're really a product of a mixed marriage.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I am an absolute mutt, and I fit in with both. We spend a lot of time in New England.
You meet in Appalachia. Oh, you spend time in New England. Now, see those people up there. They're fabulous. They're a little quirky too.
Everyone's quirky.
Everybody got quirks. Ohio, not so much quirks. They're stealing concrete people.
Yeah. I drive through Virginia. I drive to Cape Cod. So we always drive through Appalachia.
Do you take 81?
I do.
I love it. Well, let's talk for a moment about Cape Cod.
Let's talk about it.
Stunning. Stunningly beautiful. I have friends that just moved up to Maine. New Hampshire's a knockout.
Yes.
New Hampshire's its own country to me. I find it fascinating.
Well,
the Green Mountain Boys. I mean, I don't know. This country is incredible.
It really is. I love when Europeans come here and they can't believe the variety of landscape. And I feel like then they understand why Americans maybe don't get to travel as much, because you are traveling. Do
you guys ever go to New Orleans?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, New Orleans, that's its own country.
It is. It's so different than
anywhere else. The Europeans, I say, you got to see New Orleans, you got to see San Francisco, and
Miami is like another country.
Come to Maine.
Yes.
Both of Allison and I both have family in Maine. We have a cabin there. My family, where people born in the 1600s are buried in. Yes. It's over. I'm trying to think of where. Bucksport, Maine.
Okay.
My family in York.
Yeah.
Wow. Like a beautiful home.
Have you girls been to the Iron Range of Minnesota?
No.
That is one of the 4 states I have not been to.
Yes. I don't think I've been to Minnesota.
Okay. Either. I'm going to tell you about Minnesota. Minnesota is the Italy of America. That's why immigrant Italians went to the Iron Range. Now, why do I say that? Pristine lakes, easy to drive. You can get anywhere in there. The food is great. Those lakes, I kayaked. I really didn't use the oar. I let my cousin do it, but
hilarious.
When I say pristine, and then you go to Bob Dylan's house and have your picture made on his steps. It doesn't get any better than that.
It's so true.
That's where the shoemaker's wife was set in Minnesota.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they spent time there. Yeah. And it's where my grandmother stayed after she got here.
Well, I know we're kind of running short on time. I would love for you to maybe say, I know you have written many, many books. Are there books that you recommend, books that are like kind of near and dear to your heart that you've read, or are they all your babies?
Do you want, I love all my books. I would, and I want to say this, and I'm not saying this to be a jerk, but I wouldn't put a book out unless I was 1,000% behind it.
Of course.
But sometimes I think I've heard other writers tell me, oh yeah, but I got hoodwinked into that, so I just went with it. And that's not me.
Good to know.
But I've got other things I do probably that they're better at and will do. But I feel strongly if you pick up any of my books, I am confident you will enjoy it. So,
I agree.
So thank you so much. So let me give, why don't I give some nonfiction memoir? Okay, you have to read, and you have to have her on, Christie Brinkley, Uptown Girl.
We were just talking about her today.
Okay, I've talked to her now. Go listen to the podcast if you haven't. And if you want her, I will call her editor, because
we're clutching
And I tell you, I love her now.
That's cool.
I was going to be like such a snob. Ew. But then I got so much out of it, and I know you will love her and you will get so much. Some of us are lucky in love, and some of us aren't.
And how is she not? That's the thing.
First of all, that's the secret sauce of her. She's like an innocent. She's like Lorelei Lee in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, except she's very smart. She's also an artist. She shares this with somebody else I worked with. She's a photographer, but she paints and she draws. And Christy Brinkley, okay? And I said to her, I said, hey, I worked for Farrah Fawcett. And Ryan O'Neal, Alan Zweibel hired me on his show, Good Sports. And so I knew Farrah, who I loved.
Texas girl.
Sculptress. And she did all this art. I said, Christy said, we share a birthday. I said, well, did you ever meet Farrah? No. So I kind of made that heavenly merge with them. But Christy has been through so much, and she's not bitter.
I watched the Billy Joel documentary.
I loved it.
And my heart, and she before social media, basically did a videoing her life.
In the 80s, when nobody was doing that, she was prescient. And by the way, she's a great clothing designer, and I'm wearing her overalls right now.
Nice.
You can get it from home shopping. Yeah,
if you could hook us up, we would love that. I will talk about that.
Okay, will you guys remind me tomorrow? Just email me. Just text our and I will call.
Okay.
You have to meet her. You have to. Oh, it's so good. And it's a great summer read. Okay, now more recommendations. I loved Bits and Pieces by Whoopi Goldberg. Whether you like the view or don't, it's immaterial. I've worked with her. I love her dearly. She was in Big Stone Gap. She played Fleeta. I've written another movie for Whoopi. I love her. But that book, Bits and Pieces, is about her family, her mom and her brother and her. And it's an incredible story. I loved Bernice McFadden's book, which is called First Daughters. She went all the way back. She's a great novelist. She wrote Sugar. You probably read that one 25 years ago, but she goes all the way back to her great grandmother who was a slave, and then draws this perfect line of the firstborn daughters, of which she is one. Loved it. What else have I read lately? Fanny Flagg. You've got
I couldn't get an ARC of that.
Crazy book, but fun. It's called Something to Look Forward to.
I love it.
Yeah, I've read one of hers where the main characters were ghosts, and but I have read all of her books, and for some reason we could not get an advanced reader copy of that. Like, it wasn't digitally available. So I think it came out today.
That's weird. Yeah, I think it just came out.
Yeah, today.
For you, if you don't have it, we'll get that. And then I'm just looking over here at some of the ones I have coming up. I have a ton coming up.
What are you working on next?
Great question.
I'm deciding between 3 things. Okay. But I've already written a lot on all of them.
If you need help, we can help you.
Or we can throw another one in the mix too. Another
one in the mix.
I mean, I love a good Texas woman historical fiction. There's not a lot out there. Oh my
God, you know who I was friends with? The woman that wrote those series, The Rose.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Leila Meacham.
All right, so let me tell you about Leila Meacham. So I feel like pre-COVID I interviewed her for something. And that's my kind of girl. She kind of came to writing a little later. Look, this is what I say about writing. Don't count yourself out ever, ever, ever. Bonnie Garmis, late 60s, when her first novel comes out. Of course, Bonnie's like ageless. But Bonnie had another career as a copywriter. And just got fed up with the misogyny, Bonnie Garmis is phenomenal. I hope you can get her on the show. But any of these people just write. Then that's one. Now somebody else I was thinking about. Oh, Frank McCourt was 70 something when he wrote Angela's Ashes, which is ostensibly, to me, one of the great books of the last century.
I know. I still remember it so well.
Now, because we were all mothers at the same time, I think Allison has them younger than me.
A little bit younger, yes.
Yeah.
I've got an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Okay, well, you're still in it, babe.
Yes. I sent my daughter off to college a week ago.
Is she happy? So far, so good.
Yes.
Thank God.
I know it.
Yeah, because when you get that right, it helps.
Yes.
Okay, why did I bring that up? Oh, about the ages of children.
About Frank McCourt.
Frank McCourt. And I keep going.
And we did motherhood the same time.
Yes. Oh my God, you guys, my brain's like a sieve. I was going to mention another author. Oh. This week I'm recording Jeffrey Eugenides. He wrote Middlesex, The Virgin Suicides. He won the Pulitzer.
Yes.
Barbara Kingsolver, who did, I consider Barbara Kingsolver our greatest. Kristen Hanna, I think she's the James Michener, Herman Wouk of our period. I love her too.
We had her on. That was pretty incredible.
She's pretty incredible. And then Jeffrey Eugenides, he's a professor and he's, quite brilliant. That book, Middlesex, is a masterpiece. I highly recommend that. And, when we were having these children, I did not read like that.
Right.
I did not have it in me.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier, that we kind of went in and out, or we read fare we could handle.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, but I read it and it's phenomenal. I can't wait to talk to him. So things like that. If you haven't read Demon Copperhead, you should read that and have Barbara.
I read every single one of Barbara Kingsolver's books.
Have you had her on yet?
No.
We're
working on it though. We this year's been pretty awesome for who we have had on. So it's been.
No, I know. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I'm having to go plug my computer in. So
that happens.
Not very professional.
That's right.
I'm having a lawnmower outside my window, so you know how it goes. Anyways,
I love seeing your house, Elizabeth.
Here's my room.
Oh my God, your colors are just superb.
She is Southern Belle. This one,
Southern Belle with a kind of a New York twist.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. Which, I mean, that kind of defines Texas women, in my opinion, because Texas women are a little more, they got a little edge to them.
Oh my God. Like you have the great Lynn Wyatt down there.
Mm-hmm.
She's fantastic.
Have you ever read Elizabeth Crook, The Which Way Tree? That's my favorite book, and I mention it all the time. And I know Kai.
What's it called again?
It's called The Which Way Tree. And Kai, our communications director, I know she's on this and she tells me to stop recommending it because it's the book I always talk about. It is la perfect Western. It is wonderful.
Well,
is great.
Well, one of my favorite books, because I love my Edna Ferber, is Giant.
Uh-huh.
Talk about a prescient novel about Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Yeah.
We saw that in our classics section.
Great.
Good.
So,
well, this has been so much fun. Adriana, thank you so much. I could talk to you.
Well, I love you girls. Now, I'm here for you. So anybody you see, if I can help, I'll help.
We're going to take you up on that for sure. To close us out, I'm going to let Elizabeth announce our next book for next month. And in the chat, I will put the link to sign up and where to buy the book, of course, which is Fabled, but I'll let her introduce it. It's a good one. The White Python World Tour.
Okay, so our next book club, did you get it?
Yes.
Did you say it?
You're a little fuzzy. She's a little fuzzy.
Okay, good, because I'm for some reason
you're in a different
I'm losing
room.
you here. Okay. Yes, you're gonna have to do it. I think I'm gonna have to say goodbye.
That's totally fine.
Okay.
Yes, the White Python World Tour. We featured it on our book review. Elizabeth could not get enough of it. It has 80s vibes. It's entertaining. You're going to love it. Travis Kennedy will join us Tuesday, September 8th. We would love to see you there. And we will also put this in our email tomorrow, so you will not miss a thing. You'll be able to sign up. Adriana, thank you so much. This was
Thank
such a
you.
delight.
You know, I love you girls so much. And thank you for having me.
Yes.
And I'm going to come in person and we're going to do lots together.
Well, I want to come see you in New York because we go to New York City a bunch. So I'm going to go and we're gonna have fun together. I have like
you're coming over. You're coming over and I'm cooking. That's how we do it here.
Yeah,
we'll have some good Italian food at our house.
Amazing.
In Greenwich Village, and then you can go shopping.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, perfect.
Plan it.
Well, thank you again, and thank you guys, everybody.
You guys are wonderful. Thank you for this. Thanks.
Yes.
Have a wonderful
good night.
Take care. Bye-bye, girls.
Bye.
Bye.